Don't forget to record.
Hmm?
Recording.
Didn't I hit record?
I feel like you did.
I think I
Yeah,
did.
it's recorded. Okay. I missed that part.
Yeah, recording right there, right? Yep. And it's flashing, so we're good. That was good, I did the unmute, that's what's the sitting on that. So who's WF, do you think?
The fire department, it's probably Alex.
Alex?
Yeah, Alex was going to.
He's making it work.
All right, it's time. I call the meeting to order, Emergency Services Facilities Building Committee at 6:30 PM, 13 November 2025. Members present are Marco, Tulis, Rothhauser, Knight, Jankowski, Kelleher, Gantick, and Millets. We do need to, we need just a quick, point of order that the agenda has 11 September 2025 minutes, and it's 9
October.
9 October
Yeah, that's true.
2025, so we'll have to correct that on the website when we get the chance, but for the record. We now offer it, we are off the floor open to present to speak. We don't have anyone in the room, anybody online wishes to speak.
Do you want to approve the minutes?
Oh, we want to approve the minutes. Sorry, jumped ahead. Yeah, do we want to entertain a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of 9 October 2025. Any discussion? We see Mike McCoo at 6:30. Any discussion on the minutes?
As long as we approve them as amended, yeah.
As long as we approve them as amended with date. Very good. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? It's unanimous. Okay, now we move on to present to speak. I guess we have Alex and James. Either one of you wish to speak now? If not, we'll move on. We don't have any new business to speak of. So let's move on to old business. Fitch and Associates, the newest draft report, continued review and discussion. Where do we want to open with that?
We certainly do not have a definitive recommendation from FIT other than two options. Multiple options, but basically two options. Single station or two stations. Where is there?
You think he's reluctant to do it? Is that-
Well, I think at the last meeting, we kind of asked for that.
Yeah, we did.
We said maybe, he was reluctant to give one single option because it narrowed it down. And it meant it left little or no room for local public contribution to the decision. And so we said, well, why don't you get us down to a single station and a two-station option?
So we don't
That's
have,
basically what we asked.
we don't have good hard financial numbers for either option at this point. Well.
He
other
pretty
than-
much said that from the get-go, though, that he wasn't going to be able to give us hard financial numbers.
Because they're so.
I wouldn't expect them to on the buildings, for sure. I think as far as operations, I would hope we could get a little bit more insight from them.
But pricing wouldn't be his purview because it's so subjective.
And then that's exactly what he told us in the initial meeting.
Right. I mean, you could shop building prices and get 8, 10 different
That's why,
quotes.
yeah, that's why I don't think he's gonna be able to address the cost of a building.
No, probably not.
In the previous version, he had a pretty high price per square foot number.
Yeah. he provides
Probably.
us Examples.
Yeah, probably more than we would experience, I would think.
I would hope.
Some of those were some pretty fancy buildings and I think that was a safe high number.
Yeah, right.
You know, we could never be surprised by it costing more per square foot. Fire stations, public safety buildings, the office areas are typically somewhat expensive per square foot because maybe they have some extra features in them that a normal blank slate commercial building wouldn't have, but bay space is much cheaper square footage. So overall,
For base space, I mean, you can do a metal building.
yeah, and even if you're doing full,
Timber.
even if you're doing steel construction and all that, you know, more standard construction, it's still a lot of it is airspace.
Right.
It has minimal finishes, it has minimal features.
The costs are in the fitments and the, you know, stuff
Yeah.
inside, right? Not the actual structure.
I mean, he did make, like, going towards the cost, I think one of the things that I was at, and like some of us were asking the last time was like, okay, well, if you can't, you're not gonna tell us like costs or estimated costs, it's how big do we need these buildings to be, like the projection of like the size of these buildings, like how much actual base space do we need? If he's making he made some pretty clear recommendations on apparatus that he thinks that the town actually needs.
Mhm.
Or like a replacement plan and like the not replacement plan, right, the apparatus, to kind of guide that answer without answering it directly.
Right, that leads to.
Cause we're like,
bay
okay, well, if
space.
we're getting quotes on a 10-bay fire station, like that's not what he's recommending.
Right.
So I think that kind of went towards that at least, but
All right, so really, we're just kind of waiting for a final discussion with him to make sure that it is what we want.
I mean, is the point today to be like, yes, make this the final option? Or no, is that what we're,
Yeah, I guess he's not gonna weigh in on single station or dual. Is that what we're getting, or is that kind of what we asked for? So that's what we got.
That's what we asked for.
That's what we
Who's
asked.
gonna make that recommendation? Should you use it this group or do you put it to the
Well,
top?
that's what I'm wondering. What's the best course of action then?
No, I think what you want to do from here is present this to the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance and ultimately the town and say, you know, this is what the survey group has come up with of, you know, this is what you asked for. You wanted a group to come in
Right.
and look at everything we've got and everything we need and give us some kind of projections of what would be the most effective course of action and give us some ideas. They've given us some ideas. This is what they have told us. And then have a town discussion of where to move forward from here. I mean, I don't think this committee alone can make this decision. I think this is a decision in concert with the Board of Selectmen, the town, and the Board of Finance.
I think that sounds good.
Probably planning and zoning.
Probably. As far as the service level goes, both options have a acceptable level of service. So
Yes, and he
the-
pointed that out.
Right, the residents are not sacrificing public safety with either option.
Correct.
If we're going to do that, if we're going to present, it would seem that we are going to need some numbers to also talk about.
He did offer the numbers on what it would cost to refurbish.
Right, so are we comfortable with?
no, that number, sorry.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing, what, do we, before we were, should we, I'm a big fan of, we see Tom Snyder at 6:38. I'm a big fan of presenting whatever information we have early, even if if we're gonna go to the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Finance, great. I think we can say, this is where we're at, we have two solutions that maintain the level of service or improve it. next step is to look for numbers, which is going to cost money. We're going to have to get money in order to hire an
OPM,
OPM, what is that, that's their.
Owner's project manager.
Their project manager.
someone who's familiar with this kind of work.
We could,
That will be our ask, right?
well, we might be able to start one step below that, similar to what has been done previously, Wellington Hill did, and Wellington One did with some preliminary architectural work.
Mhm.
Actually, Wellington One went a lot further along eventually, but there was
Right.
preliminary architectural work that you could probably do before you hire an OPM.
Okay,
Because an OPM, you're paying them to then hire an architect to start giving you, we have almost a program out of this. We could have, sorry. That's beautiful. It's a reminder of something that I'm guaranteed to forget. We have almost a program here. If we can define enough of a program for an architect to rough it out, like if we know roughly how much square footage we need for bays versus admin versus training, whatever, the various programs, then we could get to a schematic or a programmatic level drawing. That could be priced. An architect can price that.
Don't we even know if you're building 1 or 2 firehouses?
Right.
And don't you have to have a budget? Some kind of budget number, some kind of number?
Well,
I
you
mean,
got it, you have to start with one of these, right? We can't say, well, we can't start with that because we want that, but we can't start with that because we want that. We have to start with something. And we cannot find out what any building's gonna cost if we don't define the program. So if the program is the town needs, if we say we wanna get the program for a single station option, then we have to take whatever Fitch gives us. If we need a little more, we gotta figure it out. And then we can have an architect
don't we
give
want
us
to,
a price.
don't we want to, if we're going to ask the town to help us with the decision of one
Yeah.
or two, don't we need numbers for both options? Or am I-
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So
is
we
we
need
gotta,
options for a single and options for refurbish, the two we have. And then we say, these are the pros and cons of that, and yeah.
Let's be real here, though. Are we really talking renovate, refurbish, or
Well,
are we
whatever you
talking
wanna call it.
really 2 new buildings?
Andy, can you let- sorry,
Oh,
people.
and Mitt Hall. Thank you.
we gotta figure out why that doesn't make a tone anymore.
I know.
Yeah,
It used-
I don't know.
It used to make a ding when new
Yeah,
people.
I-
Yeah.
It does when I'm at home.
It doesn't help us here.
It doesn't help here, though.
This is where we need it.
Well, so, right, so I know nothing about how this process works, so. You can do something before an OPM, I mean, what are the steps of, so, all right, so we go to the Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen and say, hey, we've got a report. These are our final, this is what we're recommending, we do a show and we walk them through that. And we do that to those groups. And then the next step is, we say, then we need money to hire, who do we hire first? And I really don't know the answer, so you're saying, Mike, that.
My thinking
architect is
is
first?
once we are happy with this report, we could literally send this report to a couple of architects and say, what would it cost for you to give us a basic? We could pick the level, you have different levels, schematic level, program level, there's different levels of architectural
Okay.
drawings. We wanna
Right.
stay on a low end, we
Yeah.
just need enough to get a
Right.
estimated price to build.
So it's gonna be $1 million a square foot, or it's gonna be
$1,000.
400,
a square
$1,000
foot.
a square foot.
Right.
And then we can at least say, these are our.
Because then we can give a rough number. We can't
Mhm.
spend a lot on architectural work if we haven't yet gotten a direction from what the townspeople feels if they can afford or want to see. If the townspeople come out really strongly, we want to do 2 stations because we feel improving the time of service, the timeliness is important to us, then we're gonna need to know that it's gonna cost whatever the
Right,
number is for 2
okay.
stations, $15 million, I don't know.
Yeah.
To divide it over X number of years or
Right,
whatever, though, that's
exactly.
like,
Yeah, we know what the total is, then we can research funding options, you know, the capital planning committee's done it some, Donna can do some estimates. We can come up with a rough number of the
Sure.
financing, we've
Okay.
dealt with that process before.
I mean,
And-
sorry, by divided, I meant projects wouldn't be running concurrently necessarily, right?
If you were gonna do 2, you might do it
Sure.
in stages.
Yep.
Right.
And then you can start researching bonding and, you know, all of those different things.
I think it's worth mentioning though that the study, the consultant's recommendation for the two-station study was based on a single department though, right?
A single organization.
Single organization, like sharing resources.
That's another facet of the study that has to be discussed. It's a group for who's gonna decide whether you go
Right.
with one organization or two.
So I feel like if we're presenting this two-station study, or this two-station location option based on this study, then it needs to be based on the same parameters that he's using, right? So that I think that's a part that we're not really,
That's a subject that's gonna have to, whether it's a
Discussing.
recommendation of the committee or you got the town people decide. Do you have one combined organization or two, maintain two separate ones?
But you could start at the fire department level with that question as well.
Sure.
Well,
This
well,
is
you know,
this is what our options are based on. Are you guys okay with this? Because that's what we have.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, I don't know how that would
I mean,
go, I have no idea how that would go,
I have
I'm
no
just
idea.
saying, if we're gonna be, I don't, so I'm just saying, if we're presenting this option, then it should be the option that
It has to be part
we're discussing, you know?
I would,
And I think that would be the place to start, because if the
Right.
answer is absolutely not, then we need to, I mean, the recommendations are.
Yeah.
Would not align with that.
right. So. Yeah, I guess if we do an order of magnitude, let's get through the report first and make sure that that's solid.
Yes.
And then we can get in front of us and do some mock trials, some mock runs, some mock presentations until we're real comfortable with it. All of us are comfortable with it. So we're all speaking the same language. And then we present, and I think we should include Gordon and Nucio on our conversations. I think the more people we can get involved early, the better off we're gonna be. Because we don't know what's happening, you know, with state money and all that, but sort of we get people involved, the better. They can help people working for us. So I think with a good I like. Again, I'm the least knowledgeable of probably all of us here on this subject, but I like the way it's presented. I think it looks good. I think it's relatively readable for everyone. And as long as we can speak to every page eloquently, because everybody's gonna be talking about it to all the different people. So as long as we're all saying the same thing more or less, we have a much better chance of educating the town. And, yeah, and we should probably try to remain as neutral as possible. And so people speak freely and see where it goes.
I would agree with all that, and I think the other thing that we haven't really talked about much at all in any of our meetings is one of his recommendations also is. Not only is it considering the expansion of staffing over time, which we have talked about, but it's also considering. It says to consider the hiring of an emergency services coordinator, which we've talked about. Not so much in his recommendation, but we've talked about how Mansfield went that route years ago. Merged the two departments, hired basically a full-time chief. So that has operational impact and financial impact. That's part of the conversation with the townspeople too. And are these all tied together? And we need to make sure we understand how these all tie together, because the townspeople are gonna say, can you do this without paying to hire another full-time employee? Or can you not do this? So it's just like the cost of building a new fire station. They're gonna wanna know if this also requires a couple $100,000 a year
Yeah.
for, you know,
Mhm.
salary and insurance and everything
Sure.
else for a fire services, emergency services coordinator.
Mhm.
Or is it gonna be, you know, whatever, a couple $100,000 a year to put more staffing on, or, you know, in the fire stations? So we should understand all of those,
Well, I think,
considering it's right on the front page of the report.
Yeah,
like, you, me, and we've been here all our lives. And not discounting anybody else in the room either, but, you know.
We've also been here all our lives, it's just a shorter amount of time.
Well said. Yeah, so when you get enough years, you can join that part of the conversation.
Let me phrase that a different way.
That was a nice try. Nice try. All right, let me phrase I was looking at my screen saying, where's he going with that?
Yeah, where I was going with this is, we're multi-generational Wellington people. Okay, not everybody here is. Well, sitting in this room, we've got a substantial number of them, but over my awareness lifespan, when I was aware of the fire departments and everything, I know there's two separate entities, two separate fire companies. But that goes back to when the town was a population of around 2,500. We're now up to 55 something. There's a substantial chunk of residents that do not know. They know we have a fire department. They don't know that we have two distinct and separate departments. That's a question that's gonna come up, and it's gonna be questioned as to why. Sorry. I know the evolution. Mike knows the evolution. A lot of the people in this room know the evolution of how we got to where we are. But there's a substantial chunk of the residents that don't know that. And that's gonna come out, and it's gonna have to be explained and justified if we're gonna continue that way, or justified if we're not gonna continue that way. That's gonna be a tough, I think that's gonna be a tough topic to cover with the taxpayers. Because it's gonna affect them.
Do you mean it's a tough topic explaining to them why we have two distinct organizations?
No,
Or-
I think we can explain why we
Yeah.
have them. I think the toughest thing to explain is why are we going to continue that way?
If we were to continue that way, why would we?
Why is it better for them?
Oh, got it. Okay, now I understand.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to get at, Mike.
Yes.
I mean, I understand, you know, this is what I know. But there's so many new homes in town with people that have moved here that don't know the history,
Well, right, yeah, they would.
and they're gonna ask these kind of questions.
Yeah, and I think many people in this room and other rooms have said before, when someone calls 911, they don't care the name of the organization.
They don't care about stakes or.
Right.
They want that
don't-
response.
All of this stuff that matters to us and is important.
Yes.
Is irrelevant to the person when they need service. They need service, which is why I think we have to have all these answers, but the critical conversation is the service delivery. And if the townspeople are willing to if they're willing to pay what may be a higher price for the potential 2-minute improvement in service delivery. That probably comes down to the biggest question for the townspeople. Do you feel it's adequate the way it is, and maybe we can do it with one station? What are the peripheral issues about that? And, so I guess, how do we get to that point? We get this report as cleaned up as best we can, right, and make it as informative to the public as possible.
Right.
And then, as you said, we practice, figure out how to present it well, and then get it out to the people and start getting feedback.
And you keep adjusting it as you go along. I mean, this is a guide, it's not a recipe.
Just so I'm crystal clear, explain to me what the thought process is. If this group is not going to absorb and discuss ad nauseum the report, and not make any recommendations to anybody about the options that are in this report, who is the body that's going to make the decisions? Who's gonna decide definitively, 1 station, 2 stations, consolidate, not consolidate, reduce your fleet, add to your fleet, more pay staff, not more pay staff, all the things that are in your hire emergency service report? Who is going to be the body that that puts the gauntlet down and says, yep, we're doing this? My assumption all along was that this committee was gonna make recommendations. Here's a report, here's all things it said, this is what we think as a group is the best way to move forward. My understanding was that was kind of the charge of the committee. Right, we're not going to do that. Who is going to do it, number one? And if we don't know who's going to do that, then we are really, really putting ourselves in a place for another $20,000 study to be forgotten about for the next 20 years, and nobody does a damn thing with it. That's the problem. And that's what's gonna
So
happen.
Tyler, I understand your
Exactly.
concern, but what you're saying is the opposite of what I just said. we took a whole variety of things and narrowed it down to 2 options.
Why don't you do
It makes
all-
sense to me that we give the people an opportunity to look at those 2 options. Do they wanna pay the bigger price tag
You can
to
do that,
improve service?
but you can absolutely do all those things that you just said, Mike.
Yeah, you're down to 2
But
options.
when the Board of Finance sits there, and looks at Andy or looks at us and goes, well, what do you recommend? Crickets. What do you gonna do?
No,
I
we
know.
eliminated all the other options and we recommend that the townspeople give us feedback on these 2 most feasible, most likely options.
Keep
Because
going.
the
Keep
other
going.
option,
Keep going.
because the obvious option right now is leave things the way they are, 3 stations, 2 organizations, just leave it alone. So we've already, basically, this committee has essentially eliminated that, which is huge, I think, that's a big step.
So, but keep
We're
going.
saying we gotta do
You
something.
wanna put it, you wanna let the townspeople have input, absolutely,
Right.
100%.
So you
But
say,
when we have a public hearing for the townspeople to come and 5 people come. Well,
Well, that's, yeah, well,
I just think that, I guess I thought that the committee would have a little bit more meat to this and say, yes, these are all the options. We think, in our experience in talking through this, that this is where we think we should go, where we should be. And do they have to take the advice? No, but I like to think we would make a recommendation.
And I think
not just
absolutely.
leave stuff on the table.
I think absolutely they will eventually say, okay, you guys are the experts, what do you think? And
Yeah.
yes, I think absolutely, at the end of it, this committee will have to say, at the end of the day, we think A or B is
Okay.
the thing. I really do think you're going to have to say
Fair
that, because I think the Board of Selectmen, hi there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think the Board of Finance
Here we are.
are going to say, we don't know.
they don't know shit.
Absolutely.
I mean,
So,
are you looking at a
yeah.
referendum? What are you looking to do to get the
Well,
input from the town? I don't know
Well,
where
that's-
it is.
Yes, yeah,
Well-
I think there's gonna be a discussion, and I think, because we've been asking for that all along. So I think all of those things, but I think ultimately, this committee does not have the legal authority to make the decisions.
No, I'm not saying make, I'm
So,
saying make a recommendation.
That's why I think the committee is, at the end of the day, going to have to say, and after listening to the Board of Selectmen, and after listening to the Board of Finance, and after listening to the townspeople, our final recommendation in this report that we've just read is for us to do X, Y, and Z. And the reason I think you have to do that and go through all of those hoops and jump through them is because if you don't listen to the Board of Finance and you don't listen to the Board of Selectmen, you don't listen to the population of the town, they're going to say, you guys did this stupid report and you didn't listen to a single thing anyone else had to say, and you didn't tell us anything in any way, shape, or form, because we've heard people in town say that before, even though everything's on the website and we've had town meetings and we've had committee meetings and we've had all of these different things and people don't listen. And they don't want to do the thing that we all say we need to do, and we don't get the new school, and we don't get the new firehouses, and we don't get the roads paved, and we don't get the things that we need to have done. So if you wanna get the thing done, you gotta talk to all the people, listen to what they say, and then come back and give them a report that says what you need.
If that's the direction that we wanna take, I will absolutely 100% yield to a laborious process that you just laid out. At some point, somebody, some group is going to have to say, this is what we recommend.
Yep.
If that's gonna be this group, that's
I think
awesome.
that is the-
I'm glad to hear
I'm
that.
hoping as we
Glad to hear
get this to the public, that conversation is gonna occur.
Well, what if we put some hard lines on that? I'll just pick January 1. January 1, we present to the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance. In February, we have our first public hearing, I believe, what we'll call it a listening, whatever.
Yeah.
And we present it to them, and then we.
Yeah, do a
when we vote,
presentation.
And then we say, our decision will be made June 1st. So we give ourselves a deadline, or April 1st, I don't care, pick a date, we could decide on that. But then eventually, the responsibility is ours, or whatever the makeup of that, because it's likely to change. Whoever's sitting here in this committee will then say, you know, it would be good to probably make it around when the budget's getting solidified, you know, because that, if there's-
Before, please.
yes, but I mean, but somewhere so we know, I mean, we still have $100,000 in the pot, we spent 40 of it on this. So we have arguably 60 to play around with. We agree that we're gonna get some numbers first. But, I mean, maybe we can present to the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance earlier, so we can get the money, so we can get some numbers and start the conversation. And we present it to the town, we get all the feedback, and then the decision will kind of be made for us, we'll know what the townspeople are willing to entertain, and then we can move forward, is that?
Well,
Yeah,
let's-
as long as we all agree at the committee level that it's, I take it as my responsibility, being a member of the committee, to make sure that this doesn't languish.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It doesn't.
Let's work backwards then. So if you wanna make sure that you hit the budget cycle in such a way that you can get things done, I would say that your final recommendation has to come out, say, no later than October. So that way you can get it before the Board of Finance, well before budget season. And that way you're getting it in front of CIP before they go into all of their deliberations, and you're getting it in front of planning and zoning before their and you're getting it before the January 1st date hits. And now all of a sudden you're in front of all of the big committees before they start talking all of their numbers. And you go into the next budget cycle before you start hitting.
So you're talking a year from now.
This
No,
probably-
I'm talking this September. So,
Yeah.
10 months.
Yeah.
Sorry, concrete sequentialist.
Yeah, because
Very precise.
it would be hard for us to pull off all of this in the next 3 months to get it into this budget.
Right.
It would have to be pulled together in like February to be able to get it into the
And then,
March at the latest to get it into CIP,
Right.
but probably February to get it into CIP.
but we can certainly have our decision made. I mean, I'm just saying, if we could get our decision made by, oh, we're gonna be,
We can get to accessing money. And we can get through that approval process for accessing
Right.
money to do the rest of the cost estimating work.
Yep.
That we can do probably in the month of December if we can coordinate properly to hit Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen, town meeting process if we need. And I'm not even sure if we need town meeting for this. I'm gonna have to revisit that question again. Because it comes up every time.
It's under $20,000.
And in a previously approved budget that you can transfer it from. You can't make it a new budget even if it's under 20,000. So,
town meetings don't have to be expensive. They're expensive when you have a referendum, because they got a full page ad. But the ad for a just simple town meeting is not nearly as expensive, and I don't.
yeah, I don't think that's the owner's part of the process. I think that either of those schedules, the schedule you talked about, getting it in the full normal budget process, or this unlikely super fast,
Yeah, no.
getting it in by February is,
No, well,
that's pretty challenging. Either one of those, if we work backwards, down to the first step, the first step is we have to make sure the report is as good as it's gonna be,
yes,
right?
that's our first step. Okay, so I'm just
So-
solidify the report.
I wanna back up from, the bigger picture for a moment. We have a charge. And we are a committee formed by the Board of Selectmen. We report to the Board of Selectmen. Item 7 on that charge was to develop and recommend an emergency services facilities plan or building plan of major capital items for all related services, including pricing estimates.
Yes,
That's our-
and that's,
That's our charge, yeah, that's
Yes.
fine.
it does.
Well, all right, so that's what we're charged with.
So that's,
we're supposed
I
to
think
do.
that's what we're,
I think that's what we're doing.
We're bringing it to the Board of Selectmen. Once we're comfortable with what we know, this is what we're
Yeah.
gonna do.
right,
At
we're
that
gonna
point,
plan
now
to
it
work
gets even
like-
more interesting, because now it's gonna.
Right. But we do want public input, we want to promote, we want, the more support we have, I think the better off we are. So, so we're looking at this to be 2027 budget. Right? Coming up,
So we're coming up to, the budget that is about to start getting put through the grinder
right,
would be the fiscal 27. No, fiscal
26,
27.
27.
Fiscal 26.
So we're looking at 27, 28.
No, this fiscal year is the second year of the budget, so it's a fiscal 27 budget.
Yes.
So if the long process puts us in the fiscal 28 budget,
Correct.
27 to 28.
Correct.
All right, well, it's gonna take all of those other committees a lot of deliberation too, so that's,
And time
Well,
for
good
townspeople
heavens.
input.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
that's
getting
good. So-
anything on the calendars between the selectmen and the
Yeah,
board of finance
and-
always takes a month and a half anyway, so.
The school building committee is gonna, absorb a lot of the energy with the very same players. So,
Every night of the week's gonna
yeah,
be meetings.
so it's gonna be, there's only so much physically people can handle with all of those boards, so that has a much tighter timeline, arguably, because of promises made and.
So what, I know we always talk about this and we set dates and we never seem to make them. What realistically can we try to draw a line in the sand that we will be done, each of us reviewing this and trying to say that our final comments on the report are ready? That always, we always try, and it's always harder for each of us, including me, to make the goal that we set.
2 weeks?
I can.
That would be,
We
Thanksgiving.
we don't meet again until December, so.
Yeah, 'cause it'd
be Thanksgiving. Right, it'll be Thanksgiving, but I mean, is that enough time with, I mean, all right, so it's gonna be. I won't be here. No, I know, but I mean, the work, the review will be done probably on our own time, or we could go over it line by line. I mean, maybe it's good to go over it line by line in a public forum right here with everybody in the room. And, no matter how long it takes. And just get it done, so it won't be Thanksgiving, so when is our next meeting at, shall we say,
December?
our next meeting in December?
Are these, do you mean like, do you want us to submit our email comments?
I don't know.
Or,
What works?
Anything.
I don't know what works. The email comments are kind of sketchy, seems that, I mean, you just, not, people, some people respond and maybe in having it in the room and just talk it out, even if it has to be a little longer meeting and we write right on the margins and give it to Fitch and then we start chatting it up. I don't know what's the best course of action. All of it, email, do in person, everything.
Interpretive dance.
What's that?
I'm back to the interpretive dance.
yes,
There you go. I don't know, what's, how do we get this done, so we can say, we looked at every single line, and we like it or don't like it, we took township out,
no,
so-
but he changed it to Willington Town. He only took ship out. It's the literal first line of the report.
So we
It's
don't
like-
Willington
it's-
Not like a song like that.
It's like you
Awesome.
read it, and you're like, the Willington Town partnered with Bitch Just So's, like, oh, fuck is this report? I'm like, I'm sorry.
Well, amen, amen.
Alright, so let's,
Deleted ship.
so.
It's like a kitschy old stage show, you know, right?
All right, well, that's important though, so let's
I mean,
get in that level of detail. This is-
Nonsensical, not
So,
important detail.
so what's the date of the next meeting then? What was that
I
date?
don't have it.
December, December,
What?
11 December.
It's the 11th of December.
All right, so that's our deadline, we gotta have
Okay.
everything in by 11 December. And that's it, and after that, whatever changes are made, that's what we're gonna live
We'll
with.
wrap that,
In
we'll wrap it up.
perpetuity.
Well, you're on plug.
That's why we're not charging, 'cause we're not
Yes.
plugged in.
Won't charge that way, Mike.
Very challenging.
All right, so by 11 December, we will have our
Well,
final drafts and whatever we missed or didn't get in there, we will just have to live with, but. And that's good, and then we can go on to, presenting of the initial report without, sort of unbiased opinions at this point. To the various boards and commissions to sort of like what I call a warning order, say this is coming. And then we'll have learning and listening with the public. And I don't know, I went over to Ashford they do a monthly mailing. And they spend about 10 grand a year on a monthly newsletter, and they do all kinds of stuff. And it's kind of expensive, but they really like it, and the townspeople seem to be willing to absorb the cost. So maybe for something like this, maybe it's worth doing a mailing, not of the entire report, but of what our synopsis is. And just do it bulk mail, and just say, hey, this is coming up, please come to a meeting. I don't know, I don't know how much it would cost, I think I'd like to find out.
They have like bulk mailings from the school 1.0, right? I feel like I got some.
There's a lot of different ways to do it.
Wellington Scholarship Foundation does bulk
Oh,
mailings. all the time.
And I think
It's
that's,
about $2,000 to do every mailbox. If you use standard postcard size, it's just under $2,000.
okay,
If you use the larger glossy, you know,
It's more
like
expensive.
like the political parties did this
Yeah.
year and this, and the scholarship committee does, that larger size, it goes up a few $100.
well, I don't think it has to be fancy, I just think it needs to be, detailed enough to make sense,
Well, and to get people to come to.
and to get people to,
the
well,
event.
we'll have coffee and donuts. We could have pizza. Maybe somebody will donate a pizza. Anyway, something to make it interesting and the people would come. I think everything I've been hearing for the last 2 years or even longer is that people don't know things are happening. They don't get the message. If we do a mailing and it's on the website and it's on Everbridge and it's on the website
And they'll still.
and there's a mailing, we could say, look, we've done everything possible we can. But we cannot force you to be here, but we could say free coffee and donuts. That'll pack them in.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, and then we just listen and we learn and we take the questions and we write them down and we report back what people said. And if it changes our minds or guides us in a direction, then we'll know. And I also think that when the more I listen to people, and it also helps solidify my own ideas, so. I don't know, you just learn as you go.
I know this is gonna sound like a trivial pursuit, but it maybe, hopefully means something to other people in the room besides me, but can we amongst the fire departments find a picture of a fire that happened in Wellington to be on the front cover of this report instead of a fire that happened in Mansfield? Tyler? I mean, having that, I mean, that's not our fire. It's not our fire truck in the picture.
Yeah, good point. Secretary, she's got.
Yeah, Dave's got it.
Yeah, I would have never known that.
Yeah, I wouldn't, I didn't even make
Us
that.
fire people know.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
It's always listed as my house.
Right, fire truck.
Just saying.
Maybe not somebody.
I don't think that's true.
Right, like.
Well, I
someone's
mean,
traumatic
well,
or
the guy
something like-
who owned this place, the guy who owned this place has property in Wellington. I mean, he's a Wellington
Okay, well, then,
taxpayer.
I was gonna say, cause they don't know, but.
He might still be sad about this.
It
No, we
doesn't have to
could
be,
do an ambulance, you know.
does it have to be a
carting
fire?
off somebody.
It doesn't have to be a fire. I'm just saying, like, something Wellington would be better, I think. As
Oh,
opposed
no,
to,
I agree.
Yeah.
There we go.
How about a brush fire, just a nice little brush fire?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't wanna-
You can set my lawn on fire.
Brush fire in my backyard, I didn't, never thought to take pictures, so.
how about a shadowy picture of the two fire departments training together?
Yeah.
you go.
Even
That would
better.
be good. That'd be great.
Little picture of collaboration.
Yeah, that's wonderful. All right, new task, submit your pictures by 11 December.
When you have a Dalmatian?
I would say this, not trying to overdo the feel good factor, but I do think we should feel good that we're finally getting to a pretty good product.
I think
The
so.
process has been arduous, but I think we're finally getting to a pretty good product.
But winter's coming, Station 13 is non-existent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's been an arduous process. All of this has taken too long. Everything is. So let's keep it rolling.
Yep, all right, so
Hopefully we'll have some cooperation when we send it to the Board of Selectmen.
I don't know, I heard they're a tough crowd.
I have a question, how are we gonna present that to the board of selectmen?
Who's gonna present?
Great question.
I have a long list of things to get figured out next week,
And that's,
including
that's a.
Put it on top.
resorting committees and,
Right.
oh, yeah.
Do you have
Yeah.
to, do people
Well-
have to vacate it, or,
Well,
You guys consider.
as of,
right?
as of Tuesday, you'll be an ex officio member, non-voting of every reporting commission. By
Except
proxy.
CIP, because the first selectman is a voting member of CIP,
That's
for
right.
some unusual reason, that's the one committee.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So you would be an ex officio, non-voting member of this committee by,
Except we have to change the. Yeah, I have more research to do on it, because these were specific appointments.
right. But I think.
Whereas if someone's appointed to represent a board
Yeah,
and they are no longer on that board, they can't represent that board.
right.
But we may have to switch me for someone else from
I
Wellington
think
Hill.
so, I think that.
Right,
Well, then,
or may, I don't know, I have to find that out.
the other question, Mike, is if we have a quorum of the Board of Selectmen on this
Right.
committee, is that kosher?
That's probably.
Right.
That's on the list to determine, does it also create a joint board of selection meeting?
I think.
Right.
I think.
Technically, it's called a meeting.
Yeah,
Well, but it's already a meeting and it's in public, so it may be okay, because it's already a meeting in public.
It would be nice to have a.
That's what I'm trying to get that
Is it
answer.
okay in optics? Like, even if it's okay officially, are the optics
It's
there?
a picture you're painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it might not sit as well with the committee member.
Well, that's my point, it's on the list of all the
Has
things.
to figure out, and whatever, it might not make the townspeople feel that it's unbiased and impartial. So. Seems like a lot of horsepower in one meeting. One commissioner board, wherever we are. Committee, we're committee. All right, so. Is that it? We're gonna go through this draft that we have, and, again, we can, I think it's, healthy to, since it does, this is a fairly large committee, so two people can easily talk amongst themselves without making a quorum, so I would encourage crosstalk for understanding and as we go through these things, because especially a lot of the terms are new to me, I'm understanding them, but some of the sentences don't resonate. Clearly, I can hear they speak differently to you professionals than they do to me. So sometimes it's nice to just reach out, hey, what does this actually mean? So I would encourage that.
The two paragraphs that I don't get.
Yeah, right, because they're fairly technical and, it would be fun to, it'd be good to talk about those, and we can do that. And we bring that up in 11 December, we will make our final recommendations, including pictures and spelling errors and Wellington Town and all those things. And because this is gonna live a long time, it's gonna go out to a lot of people, and you're gonna start getting feedback about all those things immediately.
That it doesn't go back on the shelf like previous
Well,
reports.
but I think that's why as I was saying earlier, you just get out in front of it and you start talking about it. If you
Well-
make a mistake, you fix it.
I know I'd be foolish to say that can't happen this time, because it could still happen, but the fact of the matter is, we have some very different mandates right now.
You do.
We have a station out of service.
Right.
We have paid staff living in a camper.
Right.
We have specific needs, pressing needs that have to get addressed.
We have a building that's still functional, but really dated,
Two,
actually, yeah. So hopefully this will actually go somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, it has to go somewhere.
Well, certainly the conversation will go somewhere where the funding is really outside of our. I mean, we're all taxpayers and we're all voting members, but, we would all be able to vote on a referendum, but it's really up to the town. But anyway, so is there anything else that we need to discuss tonight?
I had something, I forgot what it was.
Well, let's open it up to, present to speak. I see some hands raised.
Goodness.
Who shall we start with? Charles, start with Nick. Chair recognizes Nick Teller.
Hey, Nick Teller, Myrtle Road here. Let's keep it quick. I have to kind of double down on Ralph's take earlier about this board or the powers be really explaining why we have two departments, because that is feedback I hear from people. People, say, hey, we're paying double the amount for the brass up top. Why don't we consolidate and this and that, right? It gets in further down the rabbit hole. But getting back to Ralph's point, I think the powers that be are going to have to be able to handle that question. So, thanks.
Okay. Who's next? Chair recognizes Jen McCoo.
Hi, Jim McCoo, Clover Springs Drive. Nick kind of stole my thunder a little bit. I wanted to just put a plug in for really digging into that efficiency piece of it. Since Ralph, I'm not a townie. I've only been here for a few years, so I don't have the history that a lot of the folks sitting on that committee do, obviously, and what I know is pretty much by osmosis. So I feel like the two-station solution that you guys have talked about is predicated on increasing or maintaining or increasing the response time. So I feel like it would be really important to delineate if you were gonna maintain two departments, helping the town to understand why that is more effective and efficient in firefighting. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes James Marshall.
Hi, guys. Good evening. I'll try to be quick. Fisher Hill Road. I just wanted to say, understanding, and I'll speak personally, though, from a perspective of chair of the CIP. I don't want to speak on behalf of the full committee. What would be really helpful, understanding that, you know, we're realistically not going to have any further development of comprehensive project budgets, et cetera. What would be really helpful for the committee moving forward is if this committee were able to dictate or project a realistic expectation of the project work plan or the milestones the committee is looking to hit and milestones for the potential project. Because, you know, unlike something like the school project, which is subject to grant reimbursement, this may not be a single large hit for the town. You know, we may be able to stagger and phase out portions of the work, whether it be design services as one item 1 year, and then bonding for a larger project, 1 station or 2 stations. It's probably a few steps down the line, but going into this year's budget season, and understanding the many demands and constraints that the project demands that the town is going to have before the CIP committee to kind of entertain. Figuring out how all of these pieces fit into a long range picture is going to be critically important. And, you know, I don't think you've seen kind of a comprehensive schedule. I appreciated the discussions today about trying to understand when this project may hit. But that is really going to be a priority moving forward. The only other thing I'll say is secondarily, it's going to be hard to get local town support for any direction one way or the other without some sort of a comprehensive financial picture. And I know you guys know that, but having people select 1 station, 2 station, 1 department, 2 departments without kind of an involved understanding of what the total financial impact of the town will be, people aren't going to be able to make that decision. And I say this from the perspective of watching the same thing happen for the school building project for over several years. The costs are going to drive a lot of the decision making as to what this town is going to be able to tolerate. So the sooner you can get that before making a comprehensive decision on which way to go, I think it'll set you up for better success in the long run. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work and good luck.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Oh, the chair recognizes, is that you, Alex? Chair
It is
recognizes.
me, yep.
Speak.
Real quick, I just wanted to make mention that we did get notified this afternoon by Mr. D'Amato that the congressional spending grant that he had put in, it looks like we were allocated $525,000 towards Station 13. I think Mike, Andy, and I got that email this afternoon.
Thank you. I meant to bring that up and forgot it. Thank you.
That's interesting.
Check your email.
It dropped back in.
What are the ties to that?
It dropped back into the funding with the reopening of the government. It is apparently funded again.
So was that specifically $500,000 for the rebuilding of Station 13?
It could be.
It was the grant was a fairly narrow
Or what's it?
for Station 13.
It was.
Yes.
Can we?
I don't think it was very specific.
It wasn't.
It wasn't very specific to what
Right.
task, but it had to be related to the repair or rebuilding or whatever, so.
Of 426 River Road.
426 River Road. I
Tied
believe it was
to
tied to
that
that address. So we'll get more information from Mike. That email was just tonight, so.
Yeah, I looked at that.
Or
It
this
wasn't
afternoon or.
pretty broad. It
I
was
read it
months ago.
on my way, on my way here, so.
So does anybody know what the expiration
Yeah, what's the
of that
timeframe?
It was he just got a call from some legislative aid, I think, or something. Is that what it said, Alex? He got a call from someone saying it's back in.
Yes, yep. He got a call today that it was back in and being allocated and that they'd follow up with more stuff.
That's pretty cool.
We want to bird dog that and find out what the specifics.
Yeah, Mike D'Amato's staying on it.
That's good.
Yeah, somebody should bird dog like them on and make sure we understand it.
Oh,
yeah.
you guys are, who's on, you're on the board. Maybe you could, encourage the current first selectman to have, Mr. Demola provide us with a briefing, the committee a briefing on exactly what he applied.
I'm sure I'll ask him. I'm sure he'd be happy to.
He did before, and we have it, I think we have it in writing.
What,
Monday's meeting.
Who's we?
I was in.
He didn't, I thought he commented at an early meeting.
I didn't.
Yeah, I remember
I remember that.
This week.
He may have.
Oh, maybe it was the efficiency committee.
Yeah.
Maybe when he spoke to the efficiency.
No,
Because he can get a general statement for it, distribute to
I'll
all the
just see if I have.
I think Mike would be agreeable to that.
What the specifics are, so.
Cool.
Alex, you don't have that, do you? I think we had it, right?
Yeah, it was a single sheet.
It
I
was
don't
only
have
like
it
one
with me.
page.
Yeah, it was a one pager and was pretty broad in scope. I was kind of surprised they went for it. Normally they like more detail than that. It was, yeah, it was just like to continue operations or something. It was broad. Well, that's good news. Al.
We will get on it. We'll get the information.
Yeah, and I think that's.
We'll get it to you in the meantime,
Sure.
so you can email it to the group.
Yep, yeah, and I'll talk to, well, I won't talk to him tomorrow, but I'll see if I can corral him Monday night. He's in.
Email and see if we can.
Yeah, I'll email. Yep. I'll see him Tuesday, for sure.
I mean, it's not till December 11th, so.
Right. Oh, I have my last planning and zoning meeting on Tuesday.
Your last,
I'm off the team.
you're off planning and zoning?
20 years. Wow, it was a long, stupid time to be on a commission.
Was there 15? That was long.
To get out of the way. No, it's been great. So, anything else? Next meeting, 11 December 2025. We got our marching orders. Motion to adjourn.
So, can we hold on just a second? All right, I think I found it. I'll forward it to you. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I do.
I'll forward it to you.
The letter from today? Or
No,
the original?
the guidance for the grant.
Oh, okay, all right, cool. All right.
Hopefully it hasn't changed.
That's what
Yeah.
we're waiting to hear from Mike.
Yeah, we'll find out, and I'll email Mike and, plus him Tuesday as well, and we'll check that up. All right, motion's been made a second to adjourn, any discussion, all in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned, thank you all for your participation,
Anybody want to see?
and meetings were all.